Hi crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter, coming back to you again with the amazing Aperture Box set. I wanted to divide my videos into two because I did have a video sharing with you the first box that I made and a card, and that one was more in kind of the shabby style, very feminine, but I did want to come back and share with you a second version. So if you've not seen that video, this is the amazing Aperture Box. It contains a total of 15 dies, but they are quite versatile. You have the base of a box, you have a lid and a bottom portion that you can cut out using this wider piece here. There's a little circle that can go right in the center to create your lid, and I'll show you how that's made. Then there are these pieces here. Those are what help you create an aperture using this die set here. Here's the second option for that. And then with that same circle that I just mentioned, you can also place that in the center and create an aperture, which of course you can get very creative with. It has little feet on this box. Here's also a little leaf. And then this piece here creates a rolled flower. And on the other side, there are these panels, which will help you create some sentiments. There's actually a total of 4. So this panel here, as you can see, this one has florals, so that'll fit on the side of the box or here on the side of this portion of it. And then there are these. 2 of them have sentiments. One of them says, "Hope this brings a smile." So the first video showcased that one. This one says birthday wishes, and it has a rose there as well on the bottom. That's what I'll be using on this video, and as well as this one here, which has that really beautiful design as well there. So let me show you what I intend to do with it, which is that I'm going now this time with blues and silver and glitter. So here are all the pieces already cut out, and the reason this is sitting here to the side is because I decided to also coordinate this with a couple of dies from the Tonic magazine that has, it's called Celebrations Made, and it has this die set that came with it, if you can believe that. And it is a gorgeous set that I've yet to really delve into, but I wanted to mix and match it. Here are the little dies from that set that I intend to use. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of Nuvo with that. But first, let's get into the basics of this box. First, using the base cut for the box, you'll need 4 panels. And you're going to notice there's a groove on one end and then a flat edge on the other. That's going to be important, as well as all of the score lines that the die leaves on the paper. Then along with that, you'll need 4 panels in a second color. I'm going with Classic Card from Tonic Studios. This happens to be the Ivory Classic Card. Here is the Teal Blue Classic Card. I also have Arctic Blue in this set of papers, and then there's some silver mirror card and some 300 GSM card for the base pieces. So with the square die that's in your set, you'll cut out 4 pieces, one in 300 GSM, another in the color that you like, and another 2. So the other 2 you can also cut in 300 GSM and whichever classic card you like to match your project. For these, however, you are going to use the circle die in your set and cut right into the center. So first couple up both of the dies, then remove the larger one. It leaves you with that little circle. You can tack it down using low-tack adhesive from Tonic Studios. It's very effective and it won't ruin your paper. So that way you have that opening. Then you're going to have 4 little feet to your box. We're going to have a little play with these. And then there are these pieces here. I am actually going to use these as photo corners. So you cut as many as you like for this project. Then along with those pieces, you're going to be cutting 4 more pieces using the decorative die of your choice. I have chosen the one that looks like this. And what I'm going to be doing to make it look like this is that I'm going to color the little flower here using a glitter marker in Imperial Blue, and that is number 184. I'm actually going to color around just the petals of this flower and it's super easy. It takes very little time to do it because you're just tracing along the same lines that are already there on the die, and you don't need to get very intricate. If you get one that's a little bit wider than the other, it's no big deal. Just make sure that you follow along those lines there and that you get enough kind of glitter around all the edges. So you may have to go back one more time around the entire edge, and that's it. Simple as that. So the other thing that I want to do is I want to make this little flower pop. So I've cut it again, just that little portion, using some beautiful glitter card from Tonic Studios. But I need a foundation first, and that's where that mirror card's going to come in. Here's the other ones that I've already made. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this panel, and I can take the thinner nozzle here from Tonic Studios. If they become available, then I'll go ahead and link them in the description bar of this video. Be sure to take a look at that description bar when you watch my videos. I sometimes leave information there that might be useful to you, whether it be part of a tutorial or measurements. It can be just the availability of an item. So I often go back and I update those details, and by all means, if there's ever anything that you have a question about, then leave me a comment. I always check my comments, and I'll be happy to respond to any questions that you might have. So this is just a question of pressing that down. When you're working with a mirror card, I have a suggestion for you. Don't ever like brush your paper, just press it instead, and that way your adhesive is less likely to run all over the place. Then for these little pieces here, I am going to just take out the ones that I need. I can just place the adhesive where I need it here on this mirror card. And mirror card is very slick, of course, so you want to make sure that you have enough adhesive there. Picker to pick these up. There's also a tool just like this from Tonic Studios. I don't know if it's available in the US store, but if I find it, I can go ahead and link that as well for you. So that's just a matter of placing these in here. Okay, super simple. There you have it. Now, if you want to, you can also go ahead and do all of the little leaves in different colors. You can use drops. So if you are going to use drops, then I would suggest placing the layer on here with just simple white paper first, and or if you're gonna color it in, and then once you're done doing all of the drops, then place the color of choice right on top, and then that way you have some really crisp, clean edges. The other panels that you're going to need are going to actually be the aperture. So I'll get into more detail with this, but the long die that's in your set is going to cut these out. You're going to need 4 for the box, and you can choose whether or not to use the decorative portion for here. If you want to see how to do that, you can watch my previous video. That's where I explain all about the little notches and everything. For this video, I am actually going to use one of these alongside with the birthday sentiment. So how did I make this? I took this same die, I cut out a piece of paper that was only long enough to cover half of this, and I cut it out. So then I cut away the fold portion here. You see that? I just cut that portion away, and then I took the birthday wishes sentiment die from the set, and I just placed it right in the center there, and I cut it again. So that's how I got this panel. I'm actually going to be placing a piece of vellum behind here. So all I did was just measure this rectangle, cut out a piece of vellum, and that's going to go right behind this And just like that. Then with the Celebrations Made magazine collection from Tonic Studios that came with the beautiful snowflake dies, I grabbed these. So I'm going to have a little play with those because I'm actually going to use them as embellishments. So I'm going to set those aside for a moment and let's start building this foundation. So of course you always want to fold and burnish your paper. I'm going to just burnish that fold, the top and bottom folds. And then this portion here does not need a crisp fold. It's actually going to curl. So you can take a pen or a marker or anything that is comfortable for you and just roll that little portion there. And that's about it. You don't need to do too much pressing on that paper. And you're going to get a really beautiful curve there. And you're going to repeat that 4 times. Once all 4 of those are folded, you can start adhering your pieces. All you need is adhesive on this one tab here. And you'll match up all 4 in the same manner, top to bottom. Now that you have all 4 pieces together, you can flip this over, fold it closed, and they should meet up right here in the center. So it makes it easier to close off this box. Okay, you now have a box that looks like this. Start assembling the top and the bottom of your box. I've made a little change, and that is that I changed the color of the paper that I'm going to put both on the top and bottom as far as this is concerned. And another decision that I made was to double these up so that way they can be really nice and sturdy. I just realized that that's something that I wanted to do. So of course you can just use the same dies and repeat that. Now I'm going to open up this top portion just by folding these right back out. And I'm going to start training these portions here to start folding in. So just very gently. And of course you would have burnished the rest. I'm going to place my 300 GSM card right in here, and of course, as I mentioned, I just double that up, and this is going to provide a really nice and sturdy finish to this box. So now I can flip this over and I can start applying the adhesive, and I want to concentrate on where that paper kind of joins there. I want to make sure that those little corners are really nicely adhered so that they don't pull apart. So if you need the thinner tip of your adhesive, this is a good time to take advantage of that and make sure that those little corners really do make contact there. And it takes a moment to hold those in place, but this is a really great way to find out if you need that extra little touch of adhesive on those corners there. I'm just using that paper to kind of help me gauge. I'm referring to that little portion there that joins those two papers together because it's going to help you have a nice finish when it's all said and done. Adhesive on the outside tabs. So of course I need all 4 of these adhered. I'm going to be patient, however, and just very gently fold that over, and with my hand on the inside I'm going to provide some resistance so that I can start having that paper make full contact all the way to the edge there. Same over here. And I'm not addressing those corners until all 4 tabs are fully adhered. It's going to make a difference. Now I'm going to go here to this one. And then I was working with that thinner nib, but I'm going to switch over to the regular bottle. I'll take that corner. And this one, that edge. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to that. Happy with that, I can now go back and place adhesive on all of these little portions, making sure that I aim right at the base. And now I'm just going to use the side of my finger there and kind of help curl that over or curve it. I'm going to hold on to that, and I'm applying pressure on the other side as well. Got a nice clean edge there. Always go back and apply a little more adhesive if you need to. And once you're happy with that, you can then take the top portion and apply the same principle. Of course, here you want to make sure that you can hold on to the side tabs as you apply the adhesive, because you won't be able to access it from the other side. So you first place your paper in, and I would say to try to aim for one side first. Make sure one side is really nice and straight. So with that being said, I'm going to apply adhesive on this curved tab, and I'm going to concentrate on that curve meeting the curve of the paper that I cut out with that circle die. And it might not be 100% exact, but just want to make sure it doesn't come right back out. So it might take a little bit of patience here, but do not worry. If you get adhesive on this portion, it's going to all be hidden by that second layer. So you can kind of afford to be a tiny little bit messy on this one. So I'm just going to hold on to this here. And what I want to make sure is that it is going to reach both corners really nicely, and it looks like it will just fine. Don't want to overthink things too much. Okay, so we've got that tab. Now I kind of want to go to the opposite side Okay, place my adhesive on that one and hold it in the same way, making sure it's meeting these two corners there. Okay, fold that over and pinch that paper together. Okay, kind of have to push it in from the edge sometimes. Make sure it makes contact there. And this side was perfect. Okay, halfway there, 2 more tabs. Apply your adhesive. Lightweight card for these foundational pieces. In fact, if you can double up that 300 GSM, I highly recommend it. And lastly, this portion here. And now it's a matter of just holding that in place. It makes it a whole lot easier. Okay, and pinching in that little corner, making sure that that makes full contact there. Okay, now our little fingers here, they remind me of little hands. Now these are just going to curl right over on those corners, kind of give them a nice pretty hug. Paper hug. Okay. I'm going to curl those over. Curl those over. And if you buckle in your paper, just push it back out. You might find that that happens on that curved portion. But because it's paper, it's not like a tin can. You can actually, well, actually, tin cans, sometimes you can do that. Just bring that over and press. Once you have these little guys all adhered, of course, this is going to be all covered up. Adhesive here now on the center, right along that edge, and then the outside corners. Okay, this is going to match up right here. Just very gently place this down. Make sure that it meets all of the corners, which it will, of course. And then, once that's nicely placed, it's just a matter of rubbing it a tiny little bit. Got a nice, beautiful finish on that box. It's excellent. Very, very nice. Okay, now we have the side panels. These side panels are the apertures that we spoke about earlier. You need to fold all of the lines that your die is going to emboss into your paper. So all of them have the little tab, the little fold line here with an opening, and then another one down here. So what I'm going to do is take the ones that I had prepared here, and I'm going to adhere them to this panel here. Try to center these as best as I can. I'm going to take a moment to make sure that they're nicely placed on there. I think this design is just so beautiful. It really, I mean, they all are, but it's perfect for a wintry type of project, and that's what I got to thinking about when I saw that. Okay, again, centering this. Okay, on this last one, before I adhere this to that box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the panels that I had cut out using the same die. This one has the sentiment here, birthday wishes. I've got my piece of vellum, so that's going to go right behind it. Of adhesive all the way around. Now vellum has a tendency to shrink when it's wet. It's kind of like an expensive blouse. So I'm going to place adhesive only where I need it here on the letters, and I am using this thinner tip because the less adhesive the better, if you can get away with using. Now my little piece of vellum is going to match my corners here because I had already measured it out. Of course, if it's a little bit too wide, I can just cut away the excess there. I'm just going to apply some pressure here. Place my scissors right along that edge. And I'll repeat the same here. Barely visible, but if you can see it, others might. And it's quite easy to take that off. I'm going to place this right behind here. So I'm going to place adhesive on this portion. Match this up. Make sure your placement is exact. There we go. I have the option of placing this on top, but I'm honestly not seeing a difference, so I'm going to just leave it as is. I don't think that that causes an eyesore to see that vellum back there. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to take my box and I'm going to start adhering these panels right on the bottom here, this edge, to make sure that this lines up with your box. Just place it right on top, just like so. Match up your little circles. And you can flip it over. Once you have your adhesive on that tab, then you can just press it right down. So to help myself out, I went ahead and put some little strips of red line adhesive there, just because I know that that's going to help initiate the tack on here. So I'm just going to center the next panel over. Make sure it's right in the middle there. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I've already put the wet adhesive there, and now I'm just going to press that in place. And then I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, making sure that they're nicely centered there. And do the next one over. Apply my wet adhesive. And of course, I can put the little tab in there first, because that's how it would close anyway. Just slip that right in there. And then this is going to fold right on over onto that one. And then lastly, it would be this one, which would be right on top. You can insert it onto this side. The little tab can go right in, and it's going to make its way all the way around to the other side and take away the little liner. Gonna apply my wood adhesive here, and then apply pressure there. Okay. So you should have something that looks like this now. And I really like that you can fit those sentiments right in there. So now I can apply the little feet to the bottom corners. And for this, what I want to do is that I kind of want to focus on one little edge first, and those little pieces. Then I'll focus on the opposite. The reason for it is that I want that larger tab to match the straight edge here. And I'm going to place that as close to that corner as I can get it. Just to help you hold that down. Then you can apply the adhesive to the opposite little tab, or even to the edge if you need to, and then hold down the rest of it. So the same way that you apply this one, and if you see there, I'm trying to get it as close to that edge as I can. So the same way that you apply that one, you're going to apply the other three. You see how easy that is. So I'm going to do the other three and I'll be right back. Now that I've adhered all 4 of those adorable little feet onto this box, I can go ahead and cover all of my little workings there using the other piece of card. If you're going to add personal details, if you're giving this away, this would be a great time to stamp onto that before you adhere it to the bottom. It's a great way to leave your details if you participate in swaps and that sort of thing. And I'm going to now apply pressure here all the way around. And it's great because this panel is going to hide all of those little bits and pieces there. And it reaches right to the edge. Love that. So just apply some pressure. Oh, I wanted to create some little places here for sentiments or photos because it reminded me of an explosion box, and that is why I cut out these other panels here, so that way I can add little pictures to this part here, and of course you can add them to the inside like so. So I might continue, it depends. I'm not quite sure how many I'll do, but for the video I'm just going to stick with adding these panels here. And if you're gifting this to someone, if you happen to have a stamp of a little camera, then you can do that and stamp these little panels so that they know photo here. And of course, if you want to do some Bible verses or some pretty stamps that you might have on hand, it's a wonderful way to decorate these panels. I'm going to go ahead and place these here because I can cut more. So it's a nice little surprise, of course. And lastly, I'm going to place one here. I've got here some embellishment mousse, and mine had dried out a little bit, so I did put some distilled water in it just to smooth it back out again. You can also add glycerin to maintain it. Now, I had not opened it since I put the water in there, so when I did open it, it kind of leaked. This is a good thing I have this paper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this with a spatula onto this paper, and I'll use some of it, probably not the entire thing, but it's a good excuse to get messy and have some fun, because I'm going to create some nice texture here. You're happy with how this looks, and I think that's sufficient mousse for that piece of paper. Now here are the little snowflakes that I had mentioned that I would be cutting, and I cut them out of that gorgeous paper that now has that beautiful pearlescent shine because of that embellishment mousse, and some of them are a little more tattered looking because it didn't cover the entire piece, and that's what I love, is that you can do a little bit of variety or texture. Now I'm grabbing this High Tide Blue embellishment mousse, and this is the most gorgeous color of embellishment mousse I've ever seen. I like them all, but it's just the intensity of this. This is a true indigo blue, and it happens to be one of my favorite colors, so I'm just going to go ahead and color the edges of this larger solid one. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I love this color. I should have applied this. I might apply it all over that box. I don't know. I'm tempted to. And I'm going to just kind of kiss touch some of these. It's going to give it a little bit of that shadow edge that looks so pretty on any embellishment, of course, because it then gives it a little bit more dimension. Couldn't think of the word for a second. So it gives it a little more dimension, and it really brings out the rest of the blue as well. And I'm going to just go ahead and do some of these smaller ones here. And I'm just using what's left on my brush. No need to really add a whole lot, because these are tiny little details there. I'm good with that. Make sure this is nice and sealed so it doesn't dry out, and then decide where to place these. What I had thought about was that because this is going to be more of a masculine box, that I'm going to cover up that rose strategically by placing this on top. And you can definitely add dimension here if you want to. From Tonic Studios, and these are small but mighty. So you can place however many you think you need. And they do come in larger sizes. I just happen to have these here. Take the backing off. There we go. Okay, I'm going to supplement that with wet adhesive, and I'm going to place this right here, and I'm going to actually stagger this one because you don't have to have them match exactly. And then I'm going to place the next one on top of that with just a dot in the center, and some adhesive on top of that too. And then this one's going to match the base, but of course it's going to be elevated, and that's where I'm going to get my height on that. Then I'm going to add one or two along the side here. Okay, so because I placed that one there,
I'm going to match the opposite side just to create a little bit of balance. Place my adhesive here. This one's going to go right about there. And of course you can take a peek at what you have in your stash that will fit a circle of the same diameter as this one, and then the sky's the limit as to what other types of designs you can add. So here I want to make sure that this kind of reaches there. There we go. Of course, now you can either put sequins on here if you'd like to. You can put drops. It's really whatever you prefer. I happen to have these here because I was already using them. So I'm going to take advantage of them. These are the Pure Sheen Confetti, and they are iridescent circles. So I'm just going to place them here and there. I have one there. One here. One there. Okay, they're going to be the photo corners that I can use on this as well. And for that, I just have to open this, and just to show you an example, I can place adhesive just on the corner here, and I'm going to allow myself to kind of gauge it by the piece of paper here because I don't want it kind of poking out of the side there. So I'm just going to take my adhesive here and only apply a tiny thin line, because again this is going to be a photo corner, so only a thin line will be needed here, just on the bottom and on the other little straight edge here. That way it'll fit a picture. And I'm going to match the edge here all the way at the bottom, making sure that it doesn't poke out of the side there. And then I'm going to do the same thing up here. Making sure that the flat edge kind of meets there. So I'm going to actually hold it against this rectangle here, kind of cheater method, and then apply my adhesive here and here along that straight edge. I'll hold that there and then let it touch, and there we are. So just like that, and that's going to create my little photo corners. So if you have a little pocket printer, then you can print smaller pictures and put them in there. Super cute. And I'm just going to repeat that all the way around. Here's my completed little box, and to go along with it, because I thought that that was so beautiful, and I did end up using actually also the darker sequins Astral Nights. So this is from an older collection as well. but I thought it played nicely, of course, with the blue on blue. So I went ahead and made a little card to go along with it. These little note cards are super easy to make in batches. By the way, Tonic Studios sells card bases, and all you have to do is cut one in half and then go ahead and use those little panels. As you can see, it's going to fit perfect. The little card here is exactly half of a USA 6 card, and this happens to be 300 GSM card from Tonic Studios. They come with the little envelope, so that's a little packaging, but you can get them like that. They come with the little envelopes. Obviously, you'd end up fitting two in one envelope, or just as we crafters always do, we just make our own envelopes anyway. And so come back, I'll be showing you more types of videos of that sort, and I hope that you have enjoyed this video. And of course, if you want to leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up or subscribe if you're new, then I would look forward to reading what you have to say. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.